Welcome back, everybody. It is another Sunday. It is time for another edition of the Sound Advice Podcast. You are listening with me, Geno Medina, your host. Today, our guest is Nanyana Reichert. Who? Nanyana Reichert, I said. You know, from Fire and the Knife fame. She's pretty badass. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a musician. She's a singer. She's a songwriter. She manages to do it all. She keeps herself busy. And she pretty much, as she says, rules the world. So we're going to have a nice, long conversation with her coming up shortly on the podcast. And don't forget, before we get too deep into this, if you like what you hear, if you like what we're doing here at the Sound Advice Podcast, make sure you click subscribe. And if you click the little notification bell, you'll know when we got trouble coming, or at least something new coming down the pike. So click those so you know what we're up to. And I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Nanyana Summer Reichert from The Fire and the Knife. Well, Nanyana, thank you for joining me. It's great to have you. It's been a while.
It's good to be here. Yeah. Hey, Geno.
Hey, Nanyana. What you been doing for the last however many years? How long has it been since we've worked together?
I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe 4. Was it been 4?
Yeah, because I think our last show together was in the summertime, and I want to say 2017-ish ballpark.
Sure.
Because
I don't know. I can't keep track. I don't know how to count.
I just remember the challenges of always trying to find somebody who could sing the style that you sang, because you and April were. I mean, you blended great together, you worked well together, but you had totally different styles, which I think made the band more versatile. And for those of you out there listening to, since there's no football, you have no excuse not to be listening on a Sunday. But since you're out there listening to this podcast, Nanya and I have worked together in several different bands, one of which was a corporate band in Atlanta. And so that's what we're talking about. So she was amazing back then. She's still amazing. And now she is fronting her own band, The Fire and the Knife, which I have had the privilege and honor of playing in. Thank you for having me. So tell me about your experiences in the corporate band and how that differs from what you're doing now.
Oh, you want me to tell you about how it was working in your band as opposed to the difference in working in my own band?
Well, I'm asking that question because I think the goals were different. There was a means to an end for both of them to some extent, but one of them is your vision, and the other was, I guess, it was a means to an end in the financial sense.
It was definitely an occupation,
right? But it wasn't your artistic vision, which is what I'm really interested in. So
no, but it was the whole thing with with Sonic Groove. That thing fell into my lap. I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my second child, about 5 months pregnant. And, the current singer in your band was kind of becoming a little bit wanting to go in a different direction. And she had mentioned it to me. And I was like, heck yeah, because I was waiting tables. I was waiting tables at Houston's. And if anybody has ever worked at Houston's, they can understand a reason why I would want to leave Houston.
I forgot you did that. I remember you telling me that.
Really getting sick and tired of the politics and the way they were jerking me around. And I was really just I was feeling the push, And so when she offered this opportunity to do some sub work, I was like, hell yeah. So it just fell into place for me. Call it serendipity, call it the universe, call it God's will. Basically, I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then the gigs just came in. So you and Sonic Groove really kind of propelled me into being able to do what I consider music full time. I was employed with my corporate band, but I was doing music. It was a job.
That's a nice thing to say, though.
I was a professional, and I treated it like a job, and I treated it as a professional. I studied the lyrics. I worked my butt off to make sure I was prepared and professional, and we had a lot of fun. I think everybody's always trying to do that. Trying to pursue your dreams and goals and doing your originals and express yourself as an artist in its own light, but really I learned a hell of a lot of stuff just working a corporate band.
So, I think that's nice. That's a nice thing for you to say, by the way, that that I was able to put you in a position to be able to pursue that. I didn't realize
Yeah.
to that I may have
Heck
played a role to
yeah.
that extent. But thank you. That's
Well,
very cool
yeah,
to
that's
hear.
what it is. It is a job. Working music even full time is a job. Keith Urban and Chris Stapleton, it's a job. We're still working. We have to write the songs, we have to put in the hours, we have to travel, you have to time things, you have to plan things. I mean, it is a job. I don't care what people say. And so, but being able to do the corporate band with Sonic Groove really propelled me into my confidence as a full-time musician. I was very grateful. I lived in gratitude being able to play with you guys. The gigs that we did. I mean, we really meshed together as a very
I completely agree.
yeah, it was
That
something
band was
special. We had something
cold.
special. You know,
That
we
band
the
was cold.
talent, the talent in our little corporate band, it wasn't Party on the Moon. It wasn't like all these $55,000 a gig kind of party bands, but we killed these people's wedding
Yeah, every
receptions, man.
single show
I
was
mean,
a rock concert.
we killed it. And then your vocals, your amazing vocals, your amazing guitar playing, and then Joel and his
His
beautiful
voice, oh my
voice.
God, I love his
And
voice.
April, I mean, the diversity of April's talent. And then, you got my little rock star voice over here. But we had something awesome. So
If
it was
you
real. I learned a lot from it.
look at the aesthetics of any of those Sonic Groove photo shoots, I think our look, to our credit, and I don't mean to make this about that particular band. I'm more interested in what you're doing, but the diversity of our set list, as eclectic as it was, if you take a listen to those songs and then take a
Mhm.
look at the band, we were as aesthetically diverse as we were musically diverse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think, and hopefully it doesn't sound terrible to say this, but I think not only our cultural differences, but our socioeconomic backgrounds, bringing all that together, I think is what
Mhm.
made that corporate band what it was. I mean, there was
Yeah.
an energy there that I haven't seen in other bands, but I'm glad you came along at the perfect time when we
Yeah,
needed
it was
for a great fit.
everything about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything about it was very serendipitous. We really did a great job. I mean, the project was a very successful melding of talent. And I have to say, I learned a lot. And, I just got to the point for me, with being in a corporate band and then and having the desires of wanting to do my own music, I felt like I really need to branch out. And I think that's the main reason why I had to step down, because I really felt like I wanted to branch and spread my wings wider and not feel, because it is a job, and it became very much like a job. And I was like, okay, well, I felt like if I could just free myself from all other distractions, I can go full force into pursuing my own creativities. So I thank you. Yeah, it was a good time for me.
well,
And
good. I'm
like I
glad
said,
to
I
hear
learned a
that.
lot, and I made money. I made money doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it really helped. Propel me. Like I said, propel me into to keep doing what I'm doing and having that experience under the
Very
belt.
cool.
Yeah.
So, do you those trips on the bus or in the van or whatever you want to call it? I had a tendency to play original songs that have been knocking around, just demo versions of songs that I recorded, and then Joel would bring some of his old recordings in of his originals. Or then I found out that you had this real cool groove. I'm thinking Six White Horses. And I'm like,
Oh
where the
yeah.
hell is this girl hiding all these songs? Because there was that one. Was it Changes? Is that the other one?
Change of seasons.
Change of Seasons. Yeah, I remember
Wow.
hearing this. I
Wow.
think it
You're
was on.
taking it way back, Gino.
I so
Well, I mean, I was doing like the jazz standards on your set, and I was doing the Journey standards on the set.
okay.
So,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
so what am I going to bust out, my originals and be like, this is what I can really do? It's like, no, I'm there to fulfill a role. But yeah, no, I definitely that. And even then, those were old songs. I mean, I don't even write songs like that anymore. You should hear my new songs, Gino.
I'm waiting to hear. I'm waiting to
Hmm.
hear. Do you feel like listening to all of us play our little demos of things, did that motivate you to write more, or did you already have a back catalog of songs?
Well, I think I at the time I had songs that were ready. Like I really needed to go after these songs. and push these songs. And I think we really have had the goal of just starting to hash them out and to start recording. Life happens and things don't ever really go as you anticipated them to go usually. And so you write more songs. So I had a backlog, but I'm also constantly writing. Like I just wrote this really fun song, recently that I'm really happy about. And that just came out in the woodworks.
Those are the
Sometimes
best
things,
ones, man. The ones
sometimes things are, they're linked, like long-term pain or long-term experiences inspire, and you kind of get this thing that you have to manifest out as you write. Well, this song was like, you know what, because I kind of coined the whole Asian hillbilly thing. And I was like, and I was thinking about how there's so many hypersensitivities with, race terms. And I'm like, well, I'm an Asian hillbilly, I'm a chinky chonky kind of person. And basically I was like, wouldn't it be funny to write a song? And this is so funny. I think it's funny. Wouldn't it be funny to write a song where I am Asian and I'm writing kind of like this honky tonk song where I use the words "love you long time." So I literally just wrote this like funny, fun beat, and you can dance to it, and you can put solo after solo. If people are dancing, you can extend it over and over again. And the hook is let me love you long time. So I wasn't expecting to write that, but that just came out and it was fun.
That is so funny. Are you worried about it being kind of a novelty thing?
No, it's a great song.
Okay,
it's
good.
fun. You can dance to it. So it's hilarious.
That's the answer I would expect from a person who is a songwriter.
The more that I think about it, I mean, I've been a writer for a long time. And it's funny because, like I was telling you earlier, I started writing a book and I never thought I could write a book. But when I look back and, and I'm doing all this research and I'm like, I'm this newbie writer and I'm a newbie writer, I'm a newbie author. But really, I've been writing songs since I was 11 years old. I've been telling stories since I was a kid,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Your songs are
so I've been writing a long time. I'm not necessarily a newbie writer, but I'm definitely obviously a newbie author or whatever.
So it's just
writing. I've never written a book. Yeah, but I know how to tell a story. I know how to write a song. I know how to provoke emotion. I know how to express detail, how I feel. So anyway, yeah, it's been fun. I'll write more songs, I won't stop writing songs. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever stop writing. And I think that's kind of just what kind of even provoked writing a book, is like, I love reading and I'm always going to write. I'm always going to want to tell a story somehow.
Do you think there are artists out there who are still writing songs who maybe artistically or musically don't have anything left to say? And I realize that's a yes or no question, but I say that because Billy Joel had the sense to stop writing new songs and recording new songs. But I'm not sure what his motivation was for that. But I guess what I'm getting at is, how do you continually find fresh sources of inspiration so that when you do write a song, when you are engaging in the process of telling your story through song or even as a writer, to keep those ideas fresh and new for people and relevant? How do you find those sources of inspiration? Does it mostly come from people around you, or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think as a writer, I'm always thinking of things to express, I'm always looking at details. I'm always going, well, what if this? And what about that? And what if this? And, ooh, look at that. It's a weird color. I've never seen that. I think there's always inspiration, and I personally, I mean, I started writing a novel and I hadn't really thought about writing songs. I had already written a shit ton of songs. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. And
how many songs, real quick, if you don't mind, ballpark, how many would you?
I mean, from like real songs, or since I was a kid songs? I mean,
songs that songs in general that you've written. You can count. I got those dorky first year songs.
Yeah. Too. I mean, I've got poems. The first songs I ever wrote were rap songs. Because I was a poet. When I was a kid, I would write poetry. I would just write streams of consciousness, just I've
Oh,
got them
that's
in the
cool.
attic. I need to pull them out. But I would just like sit on the phone with my friend on the telephone with a cord. And I would be like, okay, ready, go. And we would write, blah, 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 blah. We would just write whatever would come out, just streams of consciousness. So I mean, that was when I was like a teenager, like 12, 13, 14. I mean, I was young. And but my first song, I want to say I was 11. And
Wow.
I want to say, I wrote probably 5 or 6 songs around my teens. And so I don't know. I would probably say, I mean, it's not more than 100, but it feels like it's more.
That's a great body of work, though.
Yeah. And then, I have a solo album. There was like, 12 songs on that. And then that's not even counting the songs that I started, but I never recorded, songs that I branched out on and then decided that, I didn't like it anymore. I mean, there's just always something brewing, and I don't think I'll ever lose inspiration. I mean, I just think there's just different phases of life, and obviously everybody's different, but, when like I said, I started writing a novel, and I had another
outlet for that.
doing, and I didn't care about songs. I'm like, I wrote songs. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to write this book. This is so much fun. And then I was like, oh, why don't I do that Love You Long Time song? I was like, and it just came out. I mean, and the song is easy. I mean, it's not even like this, I don't have like 7th chord. Well, actually that's not true, because Jason made me play a 7th chord, but you got to change it out with the 7th chord. But anyway, so it's just a simple honky tonk dance while you're drunk kind of song, and that's the kind of gigs that we do right now.
Those are the best kind, man.
Yeah,
especially the drunk part.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink, but
drunk. I just feel like I look like the dumbest person on the dance floor if I don't have a beer or two before I go dancing. So
yeah, I like to pretend that I look good while I'm dancing, but I really don't.
That's why I'd rather hold a guitar. I can't dance like Michael Jackson or even John Travolta, God forbid. So just give me a guitar so I don't have to, I feel more comfortable anyway. But
I feel that even with a prop, I still look stupid dancing, but that's cool. I own it. I'm proud. I own it. If I want to dance, I'm going to dance.
Well, then you go ahead. I'll shine the light on you. Whoosh, there's the light. So with all these songs you've written, is your process usually the same, or do you have different approaches to songwriting?
Well, I mean, it can vary. I think usually I'll come up with some chords and stuff. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it'll vary, where I will hear a melody in my head and I'll start singing it. And then I know cowboy chords pretty well. So if I hear this melody, I can find the right cowboy chords that go with it.
You're gonna have to clarify what a cowboy chord is.
A cowboy chord is, I'm a rhythm guitar player, and a cowboy chord is basically the kind of chords that you hear at the campfire. That's like a real simple, very easy chord to play.
I got
you. Know what I'm saying? You don't know what cowboy chords are?
Oh, I just have not heard the phrase before. I mean, you mean like open G or
Yeah, G and D.
Leave the jazzy stuff for those other guys, is what you're saying.
A and E and C and F, all those fun ones.
I know that country alphabet. I know.
Yeah, those.
Okay. So I just didn't know that's what it's called.
Cowboy chords. Simplified.
I love it.
So I'll just, sometimes I can just, sing what that melody idea in my head and find the chords that go with it, and then something manifests from there. So, but yeah, it's just however it happens.
Your husband produces and is also a musician. Mm-hmm. Does he serve as a co-writer, or does he play more of an ancillary role and just help you to realize your vision in terms of how you want a song to sound or the kind of vibe you want to create?
He definitely has visions for all the songs that I write. So a lot of times he'll usually, most of the time, he will chime in and he will tell me what could be better about the song. And as a creator and as an expressipatory, is that a word? Expressing.
It is now. Expressipatory.
Cowboy chords.
I'm gonna write that down. Expressipatory. Let me write down.
So, no, basically, I mean, he'll go in there. He'll have ideas of how to make the song better, and sometimes it's awesome. It's a great idea. Other times it's challenging because I've already kind of muscle memoried the format, mm-hmm. and it's very hard when you've already kind of hashed out the emotion, you've hashed out the flow, the spell has already been cast for me, per se. It's very hard to go back and have someone jig-jag my spell. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I will take heed of his insight, and other times I will not.
Does that ever create?
Sometimes that's bad.
I was going to ask if that ever creates a little bit of friction in there.
We ain't gonna talk about friction, okay?
Well, can we talk about musical tension, like suspending a chord, perhaps?
Exactly. Play the seventh. Play the seventh. Put your finger on the other string. Yeah, he definitely coaches me. He helps me. Just to make it's all for the song. So I know he loves me, and I know that he loves music, and I know it's to better the song. So, like I said, sometimes there is tension. There is definitely frustration there. It does create some good documentary footage.
Like that Metallica.
It'll go good. Yeah, it'll go good in the documentary. But no, for the most part, we can work it out, and if it's a good song, it sticks.
You're constantly having to juggle the work balance kind of thing.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Mothers hold a lot of responsibility already on their shoulders. Just managing a household and ruling the world. But so I definitely have to be able to multitask, and we always have some sort of music thing going on in the house. But I also, I'm a mom, so I'll be like, okay, I can't sit down and do this until I put a sandwich in their face. Okay. I can't.
Eloquently put.
Yeah. I need to eat too. It's like, you definitely have to find ways to, and we work from home, and we're full-time musicians. So, and the kids, we homeschool the kids. It's a good life though. Like, I love being able to be with my kids, and I love being able to teach my kids and be the one that taught my kids how to read. That's very cool.
That is cool.
So, being able to have such a close-knit family in this musical family, we really have an opportunity to teach our kids a lot about working hard, and a lot about, this is not a normal life. You guys, you would still be in school right now. Okay. Yeah. So you don't get to just wake up whenever you want to wake up. So we, it is a lot to manage, but because it's been their life, their whole lives, they have never known anything different. So for us to be recording guitar at 11 o'clock at night, is not a big deal for them. They're still reading books in their bedroom anyway, because they don't wake up till 11 o'ck in the afternoon. So wow. Like, they already live rock star lives.
I want to go to that school.
I know, right? And it used to drive me nuts, because I'd be like, it's 9:30. They need to be in bed, and I want to sit upstairs, and I want to sit on the couch and watch TV, and they're still in here. They're still here.
Why are you awake?
I know. And so now they know, just go away. Just go in your room so mommy and daddy can be without babies for a few hours before we go to bed. But yeah, you definitely have to manage it, and you have to plan ahead. And sometimes it doesn't go so well, and sometimes it's annoying, and then sometimes it's just a flawless life, and we're very grateful. So.
See, to me, the latter thing, what you just said about the flawless part, that's how I pictured it. I don't picture you with a phone and a really long cord stuck to the wall trying to talk to a booking agent about, getting next Thursday and Friday down, and maybe the Saturday, with one kid over here and another kid pulling at your pants going, Mom, I want peanut butter and jelly. And your husband going, have you seen my comb?
I know.
I never pictured you like that, but are there ever moments where there's no music?
No.
Okay, good. Because I didn't want you to disappoint me with that one. I like how I
don't think it's ever going to be Leave It to Beaver at our house. It's not redneck enough, but there's a little bit more diversity here at our house. The good thing about today is that there's so much technology, so you can answer lots of questions via text message and emails and messenger, and no one has to hear the screaming children in the background.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. I could have somebody totally walk in here just now and slam things around.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
At the same time, you're 1,000 miles away, and I'm sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
And I can see your face.
They don't know that I'm sitting on the toilet answering their text messages, changing a diaper while they're,
Yeah, those are the things I didn't picture. But that kind of brings me to my next question. With all those responsibilities that you have, how do you do that in the course of a 24-hour day? There's not enough time.
Well, I will first say that to answer your question, it's because I'm a woman.
Ooh,
And
that hurt.
that's what women do.
That is what
Women
women do. You're right.
women rule the world, man. We got babies on our hips. I mean, it is hard being a woman. There's so many times where I'm like, dude, I have penis envy so bad right now. I wish I had your life, dude. You know, and it's just the nature of being a woman. I think we're nurturers, we're caretakers, we're doers, we're initiators, we're instigators. Like we see and those things get handled, and we do those things, and then we also seek our own pleasures. So we're seeking, for me, I'm like, I have to write. Me, I have to express myself. I have to figure out what my needs are. And I discovered that I love riding horses.
Yeah, I remember you got one not too long ago.
So I just think that as women, that's just the stuff we do. I'm a mom. I think becoming a mom made me even more powerful in doing those things, because when I was young and I didn't have so many responsibilities. I mean, even back then I thought responsibility was a lot, but adulting as a mom, nothing compares. So and I don't say that flippantly, and I don't say it arrogantly as if I'm a feminist or anything like that, but really I just feel that we as women, that's just the role we have. We take care of things, and then we find out what we need, and then we go after them. I mean, at least that's what I do. I go after the things I want. I get what I want. If I can't have it now, then maybe I will want something else, or maybe it will come down the road and it could be later. But I gotta feed my kid. I gotta feed my husband. I gotta, wash a load of clothes. Okay, if I do a load of clothes right now, I'll have an hour and it'll be done. And then I can do this in a particular hour, and then I can throw them in the dryer and have another hour to. I mean, we just make it happen. You just do it.
It sounds like you're constantly thinking ahead. Do you have like predetermined times where you're going to give yourself the opportunity to be creative?
Well, I think it really is a matter of just finding out what works for you in your life and your home life, your family life, and in your schedule. A lot of people who have like day jobs, they can only squeeze in a certain amount of whatever, whenever. And I feel that for me, working full time from home, it's crazy. I mean, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for all of the crap that I've been through in order to have the life that I have worked my ass off to have right now. I also have the responsibilities. And so to me, I have goals that I set. Okay, well, this is what I need to do today. And I write it down. I get a pen, paper. I write down the stuff that that I know I need to do that day. I do them. I check them off. It feels good to check it off. And then for the week, okay, well, I know I need to do this for the week. And I I plan that out for the week. I make a somewhat of a schedule. But as far as creativity goes, and, I'm going to write a song, or I'm going to work on my book, or I'm going to, you really have to figure out what your priority is, whether it's ordering pizza and telling your husband or your spouse, look, I really need this time. You need to communicate that. But it really just depends on what your priorities are, what you're going to prioritize, and just making it happen.
There you go with that making it happen thing again.
Yeah,
I mean, you're right. It's
do
tough
it.
I say you're right. It's tough being a woman, as if I had some experience with that. But you seem to be the driving force at home. Now, with your band, Fire and the Knife,
Mm-hmm.
I was always under the impression that not only were you in the driver's seat, but it was your car.
Yeah,
And
well, not necessarily. I mean, the thing is I'm the songwriter, so it would seem that way. They're my songs. I write the songs, and then we go with the songs that I have written. But he definitely doesn't come up with the songs as like I do, as fast as I do. He has guitar riffs, and he has things that he's producing. He does a lot of production for different styles of music. But as far as Fire and the Knife, I think because I'm the singer and because it's songs that I've written, then it seems to be that way. But really, the whole thing with Fire and the Knife, with this particular project, we decided that instead of being the Nanyana summer, solo project, we were going to try to start something completely new, because with Nanyana Summer, we were doing all my, kind of acoustic songs and my poetic songs that I had written ages ago. And then we already had Nanyana, the band. And so we were just trying to like take something completely apart away. We started playing together more, because before it was like me doing acoustic gigs in little coffee houses, and he would go on tour. Right. And then, so when we decided that we were going to try and do music full time, we were going to try to learn covers and try to get these music gigs where, you're the music and you're the background at these venues, at these restaurants and stuff. Then we were going to take it as Fire and the Knife. So, that's kind of the direction that goes. But no, he definitely is a very hands-on. He does the booking. I can't do booking. It stresses me out. It just makes me nervous. But so he does all the booking. He does all the recording. He does all the production. He's definitely a mastermind and a kind of the octopus in his own way.
So it sounds like it's a very symbiotic relationship. And you both have very distinct roles in the same band.
Yes. And then even live, there's a presence with the both of us. Like we each bring so much to the table as a whole. When I play by myself, I can hold my own, but it's just not the same Fire and the Knife. It's not the same project. And then, obviously he couldn't do it by himself because, he's not a singer. But when we come together, it definitely is a bit of a powerhouse that we've worked very hard to accomplish. And we've been doing it so long together that the chemistry is there. There's definitely a chemistry between the two of us from being together for so long and from knowing each other's vibe and playing together. When you get in bands and stuff, you play together. The longer you play, the tighter you are, the smoother you are, the flawless flow of your magic is,
There seems to be something telepathic that occurs between musicians when they've been together that long. And I think the two of you are always on the same page. And you've always had a pretty steady stream of consistent musicians who've backed you on your live shows. What is it that you guys look for in musicians who back you on these full band gigs?
Well, the first thing you look for is availability.
They're no use to you.
Yeah, you want to find somebody who is available to work, and so
that sounded like a good question in my head, Nanya. And you made me feel like it was stupid, not being question.
That's not what I meant to do.
But that's good.
It's serious though. It's like these people, they want to work with you. They want to work with you. And those are the people you hire. You hire the people who make time for you, who are available for you. And I even have some people who will move their schedules around for us. And we're very grateful for that. And obviously, we have to be able to afford them. I can't hire, these big Nashville cats and stuff that make $500 a gig. Sorry, it's only $100. But, it's like, or whatever the amount is, it's like,
sorry, Sting. I appreciate you playing bass tonight.
Yeah, I can't have, that guy.
$75 gig. Sorry.
But you really, you have to have somebody that's, kind of in the same zone where they understand your music, they understand the gig, they do their homework, and that's important to me, is people who do their homework. If you do your homework, I can tell, and I will hire you again or not based on how well I can tell. I'm not expecting a flawless show. This is a tavern gig. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect because we don't play every weekend together, but I can tell if you've done your homework and if you care about this gig,
right? Have enough respect for the songs.
So so we've made some friends over the years, and we we have people that we appreciate their energy a lot better than others. We get along better with others, and then yes, once you start doing more shows together, then the osmosis of magic begins to occur a lot easier. And no, it's not fluent throughout the whole show, because we don't do gigs, every single gigs with the same person. Right. So we do appreciate when, the flow is there.
So your current full band lineup, may I ask who you're using these days?
I will say, we have a few drummers that we like, and we have a few people that we really enjoy. But one person I really want to spotlight is the bass player that we've been using. and his name is Zay Williams. And
Mr.
Zay
Williams.
is he's pretty prolific when it comes to his instrument. And the thing about Zay is, Zay was the bass player for Arrested Development for years. And my husband plays for Arrested Development, so the friendship has always been there. And Zay developed glaucoma, and he started going blind, and he started making mistakes, and he can't see, so he wasn't able to tour anymore. And so Jason and Zay are such close friends from years of touring, and Zay is just a precious person. I just love him.
I've heard great things.
He's just amazing. I love him. It's funny because him and my dad are exact same birthday, exact same age. So maybe cool. He's like a Papa Bear. He's like a Papa Bear to me. And he's very talented. All he does is he practices, and he's blind. So he had to kind of like teach himself. He was already like just an amazing player before, but he really had to teach himself how to play completely blind. So we have been hiring him to get him out of the house. He's older and he can't see, and we just love him. We love him so much. And so this is the kind of friend that Jason is. I mean, I just got to toot his horn a little, but he will go over there. He will pick him up. So we have to drive separate cars. So he has to go pick him up. He walks him to his seat in the car. He loads his gear in there.
Wow.
I mean, and then he takes him to the gig. He will set his gear up for him. And he does everything. He takes care of him. And we love having Zay on the gigs with us. Everyone loves having Zay because Zay is very sweet, and people are always like, "Oh, you got a cool blind man in your bed." But he's just so fun to talk to, and he's just so talented. He blows people away. So that is definitely somebody that we have in our lineup because we can, we want to,
right?
And we enjoy having him, and he's just precious to us.
But
as far as like anybody else, if he's not available, I mean, he makes time for us, so we always have him on bass for band gigs and stuff. And then we have a few drummers that we kind of go through,
Just availability is one of the higher ranking priorities.
Because they have projects too. They have wedding gigs. They have other projects that they can make more money on. They have, they're traveling. They have families.
Families can make or break a band. For some, and I think a lot of people would agree with this, losing one sense tends to sharpen the others. So in Mr. Williams's case, I mean, he probably has a much better feel for the instrument, like physically a better feel for the instrument. And
definitely the feel and the ear.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be willing to bet is you develop a better feel for the instrument, and then your ears are sharpened. And I would love to have heard him play prior to that. And I'd still love to hear him play now. Yeah, I know he's amazing. Nico has said so many nice things about his play, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I love playing gigs with him." So
he's great. He's great.
The new material that you've been working on, are we closer to a finished product? I know you said perpetually you're perpetually writing and recording. I mean, is this going to turn into a dual?
We have been recording. Oh God, no! I mean, we just have plenty of material, but you keep writing these new songs, and you play these songs live, and they just kind of evolve into things. And so we record things, and then we start playing them live, and they just kind of change into something different. And you have to go back and re-record stuff. That's the problem. But when we first started, wow, that would be cool. When we first started recording this album, I guess it's 3 years now. It's a long time. We did the whole Kickstarter raise money thing, and we were like, okay, if we were gonna hire this particular producer, because we wanted a producer, we wanted a medium, somebody in the middle,
right?
And
like soundboard, somebody bounce ideas off.
Well, just somebody who can go, okay, no, your idea is good. Okay, yes, your idea is bad. Just being able to have that person a mediator. So I'm trying to say. And so, okay, well, if we're going to have a producer, then we're going to hire somebody who's in our budget with this. And so we set this goal for this amount, but we didn't make that much.
On the Kickstarter.
People are like, you're like, please give me some money. And it's just weird. It's awkward. I feel horrible, but it wasn't enough to hire a producer. So basically what we did was we we bought some equipment. We're like, okay, well, we have to do it ourselves. There's no way we can afford the amount of money.
Yeah, it gets really
raised
pricey.
to buy.
Yeah.
We use the money that we raised to buy equipment. And so we got, we updated this, we got new mics, we got stands, and we just started recording. And so we laid down a lot of foundations of songs, and we've been working on so many. And there's probably maybe 6 or 7 that are close to being like as close as they're going to get, kind of thing, but not done. But not done, and then so we still have, another 6 that we really need to hash out and do, but it's exceedingly difficult. Like I said, we're working, and we're homeschooling, and we're doing so many things. It's really something that you really have to, when you're doing it in your own freaking living room, it's not as easy as you think. Like when you go to a studio, you have an allotted amount of time. You have a producer, you have everybody who sets all your crap up for you. You go in, all the software is ready, all the the everything is ready. When you do it yourself, you have to block out time. You have to put the kids to bed. You have to put stump them with those things, right? You have to put them somewhere.
You would think the flexibility would be
it's not. It's hard, and it's frustrating. It's definitely a sore spot, because then you have to open up the software. Okay, well, why does my voice sound like that? Oh, well, no, let me make sure this plug is put. Like you have to do every engineering thing yourself. Why does it sound like that? And well, maybe we need to change mics, and maybe we, it's not plugged in, and it's just like, it's so, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I do not feel like singing.
Yeah. By the time you go through all that, that's
what I'm saying. So by the time
you want to do, yeah.
So it just kills all kinds of inspiration. So everything that we've done for those few songs that we have recorded have been very piecemeal. And, even with Jason likes the house empty. I have to take the kids somewhere. It's an endeavor to do what we have done. I'm like, just come to the shows, y'all. Just come to the shows. You'll hear all the songs. It's great.
So the songs still have a life. It just seems like they're evolving.
Yeah. So the songs, their backbones are there. The song is there. It's just all the adjectives and all the embellishments that make it a song that's on an album kind of thing.
Gotcha. How would you describe the new material relative to the first CD that you put out? How has the music evolved since then?
Well, I would say that our first project, Nanyana, the band, with it being a democracy and a band, it was a very progressive kind of contemporary-ish rock, jazzy rock kind of thing. Very contemporary, progressive. And then you have my solo stuff that took years for us to record in our living room. We had a studio loft, and it took years to do that. And that was more of my it was all of my rock songs that I've written in my world for years. So I called it My Rock Your World.
As you were running the world, being a woman.
This is before children. So this was my solo project. So this was all stuff that I wrote young.
Okay. You go, girl.
How to put chords together, and there's some good songs on there. And then now with this stuff, I'm in my 40s. I've been writing songs. I've been listening to songs. I kind of have figured out, to me, what makes a better format. Shorten this up and make it less wordy here, and put the 7th chord here, and put the flat 5. And so you learn a lot. And so now the songs are simpler, and they're more enjoyable, and they're more flowy, and there's a better format, and the melodies singable. The material now is definitely more of like a rootsy rock kind of stuff. It's rock and roll, but it's rootsy. So it's got the blues, it's got the classic rockness to it. It also has kind of like the country southern vibe to it. So Fire in the Knife is very different from Nanyana and Nanyana Summer. And I personally, I like the music better. I started with Fire in the Knife. I started writing songs that I can sing without me playing guitar, because I wanted to be able to write songs that people can get stuck in their heads, and so I started just making sure that I can sing the songs without having the guitar there and simplifying it. So Fire and the Knife is definitely a more all around kind of roots rock.
There was a song, speaking of things that you could do without accompaniment, there was a song you sang a couple times that I believe is on that solo record that you closed you closed the show with a couple of times, and on the recording it's just you singing.
Oh, it's an acapella.
Yeah, it was on your I
My Rock Your
believe.
World, the solo project.
Yes, I remember that. I remember you performing that on two different occasions. One, I believe, was at Steve's.
Oh wow.
That me and you and Garrett and Jason. I think Nico was on drums, and I think you closed the show with that as an encore. And I
Oh
remember
yeah.
after you finished, it was like dead silent for like 10 seconds, and I remember thinking, "This is where you clap, folks." And it dawned on me that I think everyone was in this sort of, I don't want to call it suspended animation, but it was like that moment where like they just heard something they'd never heard before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then when they
Yeah.
finally realized, oh man, that was really cool, and then they start clapping and going nuts. And I'm looking it up right now because I just remember you singing that. But
Yeah,
I think that's
that
a
was
good
kind of like
approach. That's a good.
that was
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say that was like an acapella prayer. One
Creamy.
of one of those like
Yeah.
little kind of poems that I wrote kind of like as a prayer. And I love, and that's my thing though. Like I love archaic music, like music that is haunting. And like, when like those old country songs where they just I guess it stems from like
You mean
just
like a Johnny
old.
Horton kind of old country song,
I don't know who Johnny Horton
or
is,
like
but
Hank
I
Senior or Patsy Cline kind of haunting?
like the hillbillies used to sing up in the mountains from their
Oh,
ancient
oh, gotcha.
ancient Irish and Scottish grandmothers would
I
sing,
gotcha.
and like even with when we would go to church and they would sing the ancient hymnals, the hymnals that had those
Or like those
minor
Gregorian
notes.
chants and things like
Yeah,
that.
well, just not
Yeah. Not
necessarily
quite
like a
that old.
chant. Yeah, but like stuff that is very haunting and provoking and melodic and prayer like. And that was just one of those that I had put together. And it's funny though, because I have two lullabies. I wrote two lullabies, and one day I'll record them because they're so beautiful. But it's the same way. It's the same minor notes, kind of haunting, a little
Mhm.
scary, but soft and sweet, puts you to sleep kind of thing. But yeah, those that was not the first time that people have requested that song as an encore. And there have been a few gigs where you sing that song outdoors with the PA, you've got reverb on your voice. There's there's flittering lightning bugs floating around, and you sing that song and it just feels like an angel just came
Yeah,
down
that's got to be
and
cool.
touched people. Yeah.
I just remember. I mean, it would have seemed ridiculous for the rest of us to leave the stage while you know. So
Hmm.
I just remember. I remember staying there, and then I didn't know you were going to do it. I thought we were pretty much done, but I wasn't sure because they were incredibly receptive as they usually were.
Mm.
And then you told a quick little anecdotal thing about the encore. I don't think it was about the song in particular, but I think it was just you go, okay, something about giving in to the audience, because they were smart to ask you to sing more. And so I remember standing up there listening to this, going, "What is this? This is this is fucking cool." Excuse my French, but
There's all kinds of stuff going on in my head. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on as far as like music and stories and songs. And so yeah, that was definitely one of
yeah,
those old ones. That's an oldie.
yeah, that's one of my favorite moments was that lot. I mean, I loved a lot of those gigs we played. I mean, I didn't care for driving through Atlanta traffic to get anywhere,
Heck no.
let alone to a gig. But like once you get there and we set up, and we start rocking out. It was fun to watch the reaction that you got out of people, especially at places where I didn't think anybody would have a reaction at all to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had said earlier, a lot of the time, we're just background music, but
Mm-hmm.
you made sure that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I think that might have something to do with the longevity of Fire and the Knife.
Well, yeah, I think it comes with experience, when you're actually good, and the funny thing is like I mean, I'm not bragging, but like when I was young, I always knew that I wanted to sing. I always knew I could sing, but I could, when I was young and I was first starting out, I was not anywhere near as good as I thought I was. And I have to say, I feel that I am good now as I thought I was back then. Like now I'm finally like,
You
okay,
finally
now I'm
grew
actually
into
pretty
it.
good. Now I'm actually pretty good. And actually I can sing pretty, and yeah, my songs are a lot better. Like I'm in my 40s, I've been doing it a long time, and it didn't, that particular timbre in my voice and that particular control, even through college, like going to, voice lessons, playing lots of gigs and stuff, but it really didn't happen. The honing of my abilities did not happen until I was gigging every weekend, with Sonic Groove, with my corporate band, schlucking away in the van, doing those gigs till 3 a.m, and then doing my side gigs with Fire and the Knife, playing a little coffee shop or playing a little tavern where people eating burgers and chicken tenders, and and having them turn their heads and put $20 bills in the tip jar because they're like, who's this chick? But it took time. It took time to be able to harness that capability. And I'm very confident in what I can do now, and my abilities now. But I wasn't as good. I wasn't really that good, y'all.
How long?
These gigs, I mean, when I play my sets, like I know there's some prettiness going on, and there's people turning heads, and but let's not say that every gig is perfect, but they're a lot more
when they're
perfect.
paying attention. Like,
Yeah,
when you're getting them.
you know when you have the power. I got the power. Give me $50.
How long ago would you say you finally felt comfortable in your stage skin?
I guess it was, I mean, it's obviously going to be different for each person because of the experience, that you're, how often you're gigging and where you feel in your own body. But, as a singer, it's different because, you're physically attached to your, it's attached to your talent.
Okay, so you're physically attached to your talent. I not
Body.
Physically attracted to you.
Whoops. So basically, my voice is physical to me as I play, as I sing. It's like something that you feel yourself. So, back in the day, there was, when I first started playing, there was a lot of nerves. There was a lot of dryness in my throat from my nerves, from the acid in my stomach, and the, whatever kind of, elements make me nervous. And I cannot do a competition to save my life. I will not sound good at all. If you try to get me to do some battle of the bands or something, I sound stupid. But, when I do my basic little gigs, especially places that I've been before, I just, that feeling didn't come. I would probably say within, like I said, just consistent gigs every weekend, consistent. And then having these people come up to me like, paying the attention to me that you wouldn't expect somebody at a tavern to give you.
Right.
People asking for your autographs and people asking for your pictures
I've
with
seen
you,
people do that
and
to you.
yeah, pictures with you, and you're like, wow, I mean, this is great. And I just played a little rinky-dink gig, but I just changed somebody's day. I mean, they're always going to remember the experience that they had, and I helped them with that. But like I said, it's just going to be different for each person. You're going to know by how it feels in your own blood and bones when you've reached that point of, I'm happy with what I've achieved lately.
I don't get the sense that you are stopping there. So what is that going to look like for you moving forward? And when might we get some teasers on the new Fire and the Knife record?
Yeah, we're doing the best we can, y'all. It will be worth the wait. And in the meantime, we're just working, we're just taking any gigs that we can get. Obviously there's certain gigs that we won't take because you really just you gotta have boundaries, and you gotta have um, just lines that you won't cross with, but then there's sometimes you're like, okay, sure.
So you can be somewhat selective at this point. You've been doing it long enough.
Yeah. And I just gotta say, I mean, we just, Jason, we always have hands in the pot. Jason's always producing. He's a mix engineer. He's mixing. And of course, it's great to have family. We have family that help us and feel sorry for us sometimes. So, and then there's ways. I mean, I feel like if you really just push yourself and you make things happen, taking the gigs, and you are meeting the people, and you are putting yourself out there, I feel like if you work your butt off, then things happen. I feel like you can have the life that you want. You just have to make it happen. And it's not easy for everybody. I mean, these people who are successful now, it wasn't easy for them. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. They worked their butts off. And it's not easy. So, I just feel like for us, you got to find out avenues in any way you can, whether it be mixing, whether it be teaching guitar lessons.
So you're a survivalist.
But Jason will teach lessons, and then we're very grateful when he goes on tour with Arrested Development and he brings home a paycheck. Don't spend your per diem, honey.
Hang on to every bit. Do you have a calendar I can share with all of these lovely folks? There might be some people in your area who want to see you.
We play different places every weekend, and sometimes we book them way in advance, and sometimes we book them on the fly.
So can I go to like a Facebook
page?
Yeah,
we try to post stuff on our Instagram page. And what's the email thing?
the email thing?
Yeah, the monkey chimp. What is it?
I think I know what you're talking about. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't put it together.
So we're horrible with that. So we're horrible. We're artists. We do the best we can trying to run this business. We do run it as a business, but when it comes to the consistency, it's hard for us. But you can find us on Facebook, Fire in the Knife, and the Instagram page. We try to put some stuff up, but we're everywhere.
Deal. Well, I'm going to put some links in the description so people can check you out, and you got to let us know when these singles are coming out. I know these people would love to hear it. I'm looking forward to hearing it myself. So
for sure.
But I live out in the country, and our internet can be kind of temperamental, and it seems to be being temperamental, and I feel like I've taken up a lot of your time. I was like, I just want to have an hour.
It cuts out right as you said that.
Because it knows I'm talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of crap internet. But I'm grateful to have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. So I'm not going to be ungrateful.
Well, I hope I answered all your questions, and for all your listeners out there to be inspired,
to be the success that you are.
There's resources to educate yourself and inspire yourself, because I feel like we have imposter syndrome. We don't think we're good enough. We don't think we're smart enough. We don't think we'll ever reach a certain point. But I just feel like, there's podcasts you can listen to. There's artists that you can study. There's always something that you can be doing to better yourself and to enrich yourself. I feel like
so downtime doesn't have to be wasted time.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
You don't have and you don't always have to practice 9 hours a day. You can practice, but you can also educate yourself and inspire yourself with other people's stories. Whether it be different, like I said, different podcasts. There's podcasts that talk about specifically imposter syndrome. Or
I've had 2 people mention imposter syndrome on this podcast.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
3 now.
We're artists. We're artists.
That never would have crossed my mind. And again,
because you're Geno.
I know.
You don't have imposter syndrome. You're Geno.
But like I told you, I learned something new from every single person I talk to. And the fact that you're the third person to bring up imposter syndrome, Amy and Adam were the other 2. That never freaking occurred to me. I don't think I'm this arrogant, self-centered musician guy that most people think. I think I'm actually quite humble. And of course, saying that sounds arrogant all by itself, which to me is ironic, but I've never once.
But honestly, I feel like imposter syndrome it comes in different degrees. when I was young, I never had imposter syndrome, but I also didn't know what imposter syndrome was. I didn't know that the doubts that I was having was part of imposter syndrome. As artists, we're always second guessing or wondering or curious or if or what are we going to make it, and I just feel that, even in those self-doubts, there's ways that you can inspire yourself. You have to find out, okay, well, this particular book made me feel this way, so I need to find more books like this. This particular scale and learning this particular technique on guitar really helped me feel good about what I was doing. I need to find out more how to play this style of guitar. Like, you really have to figure out what makes you feel good about what you're doing, and then find out ways to do more of that.
That's actually really good advice.
There's things that you can do that will help you get over those doubts, and be able to combat them when they do occur, because they will occur. When I was young, I thought that I had to be on the cover of a magazine, and I had to win Grammys in order to be successful.
Yeah, I thought that too.
In order to be in order to be a somebody, and then and it took me years to realize that I'm already a somebody. What kind of life am I making for myself with the world around me? In my world, I'm very much successful. In my world, people know who I am. In my world, people have pictures of me. People, you just have to really figure out and you see how things change as you age. You see how priorities are different. You see how your perspective changes on success. And sometimes you might think that you have to have these particular things, but then you realize, well, I am working a part-time job or a full-time job. And, I do actually get quite a bit of fulfillment from playing on the weekends with my friends, and that's what's important. To me, that is the success. You're finding happiness in what you're doing, and still being able to pay your bills, even if you have a day job. And it's okay to have a day job.
So that's really the goal too. I mean,
kids to school, get your kids to camp. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not successful, and it doesn't mean you're a loser and you're
it just means you're not famous like Prince.
And change your perspective. There's so much talent out there, but I find that we really have to find within ourselves what means the most to us. And for someone like me who has talent, who has accolades, who has people who, treat me like a rock star in my own little world, I have to be grateful for those things, because if I'm not grateful for those moments, if I'm not grateful for that $100 tip in my tip jar, and one of these hard gigs that I have to sludge through, someone gave me that $100, if I'm not grateful for the things that I have accomplished and the things that I have done, then I'm never going to ever make it. Because even if I did make it and I can't live in gratitude, you're not going to be grateful that you made it. You're not going to be grateful that you're successful. You're going to be wishing that you had something else.
I think people will see that too. And
yeah.
Well, Nanya, when's your book going to be done?
Oh, thanks for asking me about my book.
I want to know when your book's going to be done. If you can tell us a little bit about it.
My book is I'm done with it, but now I did beta readers. I had some beta readers give me some great feedback. And so now I'm writing on draft 3. So this draft 3 will basically go to more beta readers. And then from there, I'll start querying it to probably some literary agents and stuff to see if somebody will help me sell it.
And is this a memoir or is it a surprise? Are we talking
No,
fiction?
it's got dragons and magic and romance, of course. But yeah, I don't really have like a plug right now because it's just a fantasy book. But it's fun. I'm just having fun. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I feel pretty good about it.
Well, good. Will you join us again in a few months and let us know what you're up to then? And
okay,
we'll follow up with you and see how you're doing.
Yeah.
I would love to check it out. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I envision it kind of being like an Indiana Jones with a dark.
Oh, you got me now. I'm in. I'm all in.
With a pinch of Star Wars, but just a pinch.
Oh, as soon as you said Indiana Jones, everything else can go. I'm in. I love Indiana Jones.
It's fun stuff.
Fun. Cool. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that, or you can just tell me when to look.
I will.
I'll look forward to that. I'm going to put all the links to all your stuff, your Instagram, your Facebook. I'm going to put it in the description so people can find you.
Okay.
Check it out. And then, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yes.
I'll get a landline. How's that? All right, Nani.
All right, cool.
All right, well, I'll get this put together. Say hi to everybody for me. Say
Okay,
hi.
cool.
All right, bye.
Bye.